Why is it that the further the Boruto story progresses, I feel that we as fans are not really disappointed with each new chapter release? And even though it's only once a month, it doesn't really make our waiting time feel like a waste. I mean, every conflict or drama that happens really gets fans excited and eager to wait for the next month, right? Especially once again, this is about chapter 30. I'm sure you're tired of hearing theories or analyses about fate, but imagine a world where the future is no longer a mystery, but a battlefield. Yeah, I know that when it comes to war or battles, it's a common or normal thing, right? Starting from physical battles and the like, it is indeed an interesting part of every anime story. But what if the battle I'm referring to isn't a physical battle or a battle of abilities and strength, but a battle of fate? Yep, sounds cool, doesn't it? But honestly, that's how it is. In other words, this is where the conflict between Boruto and Kashin Koji stands. Not just a clash of strength, but a collision of two perspectives on fate and sacrifice. And as I said before, the battle isn't just about physical strength or even who is the strongest. Rather, it's about who has the most right to determine the future on the final day. And believe it or not, if we look at it from Boruto's point of view, he is truly in a unique position. I don't know how to describe this accurately, but at the very least, he has witnessed how terrifying the ability to see the future can be. A power that not only shows what will happen, but also instills a sense of despair, because not everything can be understood or prevented by himself. He lives with fragmented glimpses of the future, shards of destiny that appear without context. And once again, even though he is a singularity of fate, there is at least another role of Momoshiki himself that indirectly has an impact or even intervenes in the future. Is that right? However, it is precisely from all these aspects that Boruto begins to learn and understand from what has already happened. The future is not something absolute, but something that can be shaken or altered. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? On the other hand, Kashin Koji stands as a figure who believes that the future must be controlled, even if the price to pay is someone's life. For Koji, one sacrifice for the safety of thousands is a reasonable calculation. He moves rationally and without hesitation, as if the timeline is just a strategy board where his pieces can be sacrificed at any time. And honestly, this is why I say that Boruto's story is truly interesting and exciting, because of course, this is also what makes Boruto slowly drift away from him. Yeah, even though we say that Boruto is drifting away or something like that from Kashin Koji, at least we have seen so much doubt and rejection based on Boruto's own decisions. Because, of course, this is not just drifting away because of fear or something like that, but because of differences in principles and morality that cannot be reconciled or aligned. Their conflict intensifies as lies and secrets begin to surface. Boruto realizes that too many things have been hidden from him. Too many big decisions have been made without his consent. And even though we know that Boruto has never once felt hopeless or even frustrated about what has been happening in his life, at least sooner or later his emotions push him to look for another way, including working with people he previously considered as a last resort. Not because he fully trusts them, but because he refuses to be a pawn in anyone's plan. Considering all aspects, the situation becomes even more precarious when the threat is no longer far away, but right in the heart of the village. This time, Boruto is not in a pressured position. He is in a safe place, surrounded by people he wants to protect. This means he has the freedom to act, a freedom that Koji did not have when the future began to shift from his predictions. Amidst all this, another variable emerges, a figure who could ruin anyone's calculations, even those who think they have seen everything. His mere existence is enough to make the future blurry or branch out. Whether he will be a savior or a new source of chaos, no one really knows. What is clear is that this story is heading toward an inevitable point. Only one vision of the future can survive. A future built on sacrifice, or a future that refuses to sacrifice anyone, even if the risks are far greater. And though this may sound hyperbolic, when two controllers of the future face off, one of them must be eliminated or even defeated. And when that day comes, the question is no longer who is right or wrong, but who will survive and be passed down to the next generation of shinobi. By the way, I'm Nim without the E. Help me get this video to 100 likes. And considering that somehow I got a strike a few days ago, I'd be happy if you guys would also subscribe to this channel as a backup. And once again, Thank you guys. So yeah, continuing from a discussion about a battle that has never been seen before in the Naruto or Boruto franchise, at this point I think it would be really exciting for us to discuss. First, if we draw the common thread from all this, it's clear that the core of the conflict between Boruto and Kashin Koji isn't just about who can see further into the future. The problem is how that future is used, or at least how it can be steered in a much better direction. And without us realizing it, Boruto has actually proven that foresight is not an absolute tool. He has seen things, but he doesn't understand them. He knows something will happen, but he doesn't know when, how, or why. And that is precisely where his suffering began. At least that's what we know since the Next Generation era. Or perhaps more accurately when Momoshiki revealed some of the worst possible outcomes that would happen to Boruto next. But of course, in this case, it is very different from Koji himself, who treats the future like a static map, something that can be read, calculated, and then executed without hesitation. Second, Boruto's decision to start working with Momoshiki is not actually a sign that he has given up on his destiny, but rather an attempt to balance the information. Sounds cool, right? I mean, at this point, Boruto actually has two sources of information, especially about the future itself. Boruto realizes that as long as he only receives one-sided pieces of the future, it means he will always be one step behind Koji. However, instead of using that power to secure one path to the future, Boruto uses it as a tool to open up other possibilities. He is not looking for the safest future, but a future that does not demand unilateral sacrifice. And at this point, Boruto indirectly becomes an anomaly or intervention for all time controllers, including Koji himself. The third thing that makes Boruto's position even more dangerous for Koji is his current freedom. There is no direct pressure, no instant threat of death like in Sunagakure. He is in Konoha, at the center of the conflict, surrounded by people he wants to protect. This means that every decision he makes is not a reaction, but a conscious choice. And this is something that cannot be fully predicted by foresight, because as long as there is free will, the future will always have loopholes. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? In the end, this battle won't be decided by who can see the farthest into the future, but by who can change the course of the future that has already been seen. Koji wants to ensure that the future he considers ideal is an absolute certainty that must happen. But Boruto himself also wants to ensure that the future remains a choice, especially if it requires a sacrifice that shouldn't be made. Yep, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm Nim without the E. See you in the next video. Bye-bye, Dada Bio.